Story 1. Immortality is a pretty huge concept. Are you still alive when the universe goes through heat death and then the trillions and trillions and trillions after that when there are just decaying black holes and neutron stars? Can you be injured? Are you just an eternal brain in a useless body? So many questions. Story 2. As a suicidal person, strangely, I'd say yes. If death isn't an outcome, I'll be able to outlive my issues, even if I can't beat them now. It would make the last 38 years worthwhile. Immortality would allow me to do so much good in the world. Story 3. I have to be able to die if I want to. Otherwise, it would just be me floating in eternal nothingness eventually. I have to be able to heal from any injury or be otherwise impervious to harm. Accidents happen, and eventually, I'll do something unwise or have something unwise done to me. If those conditions are met, sure. Then it's more like eternal life on my terms. 80 years isn't enough time to do all I would want. Story 4. Probably not. For now, it sounds great being immortal, but I guess in several hundred years you'll be so tired. And also, what if when the sun dies, humanity has not found a way to do interstellar travel? Or even worse, humans have gone extinct before that, and you're alone on Earth waiting to be swallowed by the sun. And after everything is destroyed, you're floating in the vacuum of space, dark and cold, forever. Story 5. Yes. Death is quite bad in a way that I don't think a lot of people truly stop to appreciate. I believe that all the arguments about why death is good are just the result of countless generations trying to comfort each other about something they couldn't change. Story 6. Yes, however, there are many factors that would impact that. Live forever in a perfect ageless body with wealth to support myself. Sign me up. Live forever in a broken body without any money? Nope. Story 7. Not unless I had the control to end it. Imagine existing for billions and trillions of years, after the sun has exploded and Earth is no more, just floating in the vastness of space, unable to breathe, freezing, but also unable to die. How many hundreds of years would it take for you to go insane with the prospect of eternity before you? No thanks. Story 8. Only if it comes with an escape hatch, as there are countless situations that would be a very painful existence. The last thing I want is to be stuck in a black hole or otherwise trapped in space for the rest of eternity. Story 9. I think it depends on the fine print. Do I age? Can I choose to end my life? What happens to an infinitely old brain? Floating in space or inside the sun after it becomes a red giant for eternity because I'm indestructible sounds like a nightmare. What happens if my brain storage completely fills up? There are science fiction stories that speculate about how 1,000-year-old immortal humans would be trapped in a permanent dream state because they can no longer distinguish current events from previous memories. Story 10. I would say yes and make myself a person who becomes a role model like what Alexander, Teryx, Titanoboa, and Mammoth did. But I want to live forever to see these things again, like some supernatural energies that are with us forever. Story 11. Yes, absolutely. Life can only be lived once, and I want it to never end. I'm an atheist, so I believe that it's just pitch black forever when you die. You can't even think or talk. Story 12. No, I'm pretty sure I would get sick of life after a few centuries or so. I'm already tired of the patterns I've seen repeat over the years and disillusioned with human nature. Story 13. I'm already annoyed that I've been alive this long. Also, actual genuine immortality is the worst thing imaginable. I have no idea why so many people try to present it as a good thing. Story 14. I would have a lot of extra questions. Do I keep aging as I get older, or will my physical age halt at some point? At my current age or something else? Am I immortal, or am I still susceptible to physical damage, hunger, thirst, or diseases? Can I back out? Either cancel the effect or take my own life if I'm immortal. Can I share my forever life with other people? Either by having someone else live forever or by having scientists study my organism. If I don't get any answers before making my decision, then I refuse immortality. Story 15. No. There are likely dimensions of reality that we are completely unaware of. For all we know, we are immortal, but get the benefit of our memory being erased as we switch realities. Being stuck in one reality forever with the weight of so much memory, is as horrifying a thought as I am capable of thinking. Story 16. I would say yes on one condition. I have to decide when it is enough and then my life would end. To live a lot longer than everyone else would be fun, I think, but I do want it to end. Story 17. I would say yes if I were also ageless and indestructible, and I could choose to die if I wanted. Living forever and not being able to die would be unpleasant. It would be a gamble on humans eventually figuring out space travel. If that never became possible, you would just be stuck on Earth forever. Story 18. Forced to live forever, as in I cannot die even if I wished it, or get to live forever, as in I can live as long as I want. For one, no, that's hell. For two, yeah sure, who cares? Story 19. No way. Yes, I want to know when we find aliens, flying cars, and all that stuff. But you can't ever get good relationships because you don't age. All your friends will die time after time. I think you get depressed pretty soon, maybe like when you're 150, when you've done literally everything a person can do. Story 20. Presuming I can't die no matter what, and I'll just infinitely regenerate. Haha. No. In fact, if you would offer me immortality or immediately shoot me in the head, I would choose the latter. Immortality sounds fun and games until you realize that you'll outlive everyone, that you could get tortured for literal eons. What happens if the planet gets turned into a pile of ash? I'll just float around the vast emptiness of the universe. Or when the universe ultimately dies, will you just float and float upon endless nothingness? Story 21. Only if there's a switch that kills me when I want. Being free from medical anxiety sounds like a dream, and all the history I could witness would be amazing. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. Story 22. I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. Mark Twain. Story 23. Absolutely not. My favorite things are to take naps and do nothing. It sounds like death will actually be heaven. I do enjoy my life, but it can get exhausting. I'm in my 30s with teenagers. Being dead with no responsibilities sounds great. Story 24. As long as I am also immune from prosecution or permanent injury, maybe. I do not want to be half a brain in a jar with magically persistent action potentials. Story 25. Depends. Do I have an exit option? I'd better be able to end it when I want to so that I don't have to outlive black holes and literally everything else in the universe. Story 26. If it's the type that makes me live beyond the end of the universe, no thank you. I want the kind where I can live forever but can still die if I decide one day that I've had enough. Like when I truly want to die, I start to finally age and go like everyone else. Story 27. I would probably say no. Living forever sounds cool in theory, but watching everyone you care about come and go would be really tough. Life has its ups and downs, and knowing it will not last forever kind of makes those good moments more special. Story 28. Would my health issues go away? Is it like a Twilight vampire situation where all my wounds and imperfections heal themselves, and I am in my prime? Then yes, absolutely. Story 29. Anyone saying yes has no idea how long forever is and what awaits them along the way. From the sun swallowing the earth to all stars dying off and floating around in empty dark space, to the evaporation of the last black hole and beyond. No, you don't want to live forever. If you could, however, choose when you want to die like a self-destruct button, that's another question entirely. That I'd probably pick. Story 30. No time and limited time is what makes life valuable. If not, I would give in to materialism and constant self-pursuits. Even if I eventually got over my loved ones dying, I wouldn't value the people that are around me. Just a life of fun, but fun without substance is boring. I feel like this is a very well-known fact. I also feel like the immortal aspects of life, such as knowledge and creativity, etc., would lose their electricity that they have being mortal. Story 31. No, I wouldn't want to live once everyone I love has passed away. I also want to meet my creator, after what I hope is a long, fulfilling life. I've always said I never want to die, but I can't wait to meet God. Story 32. No, I do not have enough information to make a deal. At a minimum, I would need to know I have the power or option to end it myself at any moment of my choosing. If that were the case, I would probably say yes. Story 33. People dream about immortality, but I think the human brain has a pleasurable experience timeline of 80 years. Anything beyond that could become boring or even worse, painful. We don't know what a person would feel like at 200 years old, even assuming a youthful body. How many times can those neurons in your brain fire over and over in an endless cycle? A 200-year-old might be suicidal. We just don't know. It may be like hunger. You eat and receive pleasure. You keep eating. At some point, further eating feels uncomfortable. Story 34. No, imagine getting buried alive while immortal. Shoved in a barrel and dropped to the bottom of the ocean. The anime Baccano solves that question easily. Story 35. I think we are all already living forever. Would I want to stay inside a human body forever? No. It is hard being on Earth. Can also be great, but I do not want to just keep doing this forever. Story 36. Yes, but I want to be able to end it myself at any time. I want it so I can see what happens. I want to see how humanity evolves. I want to watch life progress. I want to see stars born, age, and die. I want to see galaxies collapse. I want to see black holes evaporate. I want to see the last light of the last star fade. I want to see a random new universe pop into existence, then watch it grow, age, and die. I want to see it all. Story 37. Heck yeah, I could learn and see so much of the world. I could meet so many people and watch how the world changes from generation to generation. I hope living forever means I can't be killed if any crazy wars start. The hard part would be falling in love and watching loved ones come and go. Story 38. I wouldn't hesitate for a second to say, no, I'm disabled, and I don't want to deal with that forever. I already have to live with it until I die, so I'd rather die and not live with that burden, or be a burden forever. Story 39. Pretty deep question. Do I still age? Do I live forever, or am I immortal? If I live forever, that means I would die in probably a horrific or terrifying way. If I'm immortal, is there a way to turn it off so I don't have to witness the sun absorbing our planet or some other world-ending event? Story 40. Oh hell no. No, I want off this ride. I enjoy my kids and my pets, but the rest of death sounds amazing. I'm not saying I want to die, at least not now, but living forever sounds terrible. Blech. Story 41. Imagine you being immortal but able to experience pain. That moment when hot oil falls on your face. When a crocodile bites you and takes your arm away. That moment when you get stung by a bullet ant inside your eye. That moment when the world goes to ruin in a nuclear war. That moment you suffocate eternally when you are submerged in the ocean. That moment when the sun goes out and nothing is left on Earth. That moment when the whole universe collapses and you are there, in nothingness, just floating around as a lonely atom with consciousness. In a vast sea of nothingness, pitch black, no light for eternity. That's when you finally understand why immortality is bad. Story 42. I think the idea of true immortality is frightening yet complex. In fantasy, you usually see immortals living for 10 to 20,000 years, but rarely see someone with billions of years. Lots of people wouldn't mind living longer because that would mean they could experience more of life. I think I would rather live for 500 years with health than for a billion years of pure maddening boredom. If I lived forever, I would need to not only find lots of things to do, but also find another fresh universe to explore every few billion years. If I had eternal memory, then I could pass some knowledge to other civilizations, but if I had to stay in this universe only, I would rather die. After all stars died, I would live in a really cold, airless existence until all matter gathered again and made another universe, and I feel the Big Bang would hurt like hell. So I guess I would rather have a good life than an eternal one. Story 43. Longer life? Yes. The thought of losing loved ones scares the hell out of me, but if I'm able-bodied, I think I could handle double the lifespan or more along those lines. Immortality? Absolutely not. The scariest thing in the world to me is the idea of eternity, and I'm not even sure if I'm more scared of life in an eternal afterlife or the idea of just not existing forever. The thought of being alive, even if I were able-bodied and at my peak fitness the entirety of that time, would end up with an eternal madness I cannot even fathom. Story 44. Absolutely. It's my mortality that is ruining my life. The constant pressure of having to do things before time runs out kills me inside. It's never ending. As horrible as some think immortality would be, I think it could be something unspeakably amazing if done right. Story 45. Potentially, but not in this human form. I don't want to live this life without my loved ones. Once they are gone, I'll take some time alone, but then I'm okay with going too. I would consider immortality via reincarnation so that my soul could live on. Story 46. Oh hell no. Eternity would suck. In 150 million years, when you've thought every thought you can have millions of times, and experienced everything there is to experience millions of times, you're still right at the beginning of your journey. What a nightmare. Story 47. No. No matter the conditions, there's always an annoying clause. What am I even going to do with that? Is wearing that hat worth shouldering that annoyance forever? Story 48. Hell no. Long before the heat death of the universe, you will be alone, and then you will have to spend an eternity in silent darkness. Living forever would be the worst punishment imaginable. Story 49. No, because I almost pressed the off last night. This life is full of manipulation, anger, hate, war, and tears. I won't turn myself off, but I look forward to the day of eternal rest. Story 50. On one hand, it would be cool to be alive that long, build up wealth, and try to help people with it. On the other hand, you wouldn't want to get close to people, since eventually they'll all die off and you'll be alone.